building up. That's what it's all about, building up. But how high is up? Up is what you decide it's going to be. But when you build up, that means one thing. You're looking down. You could fall down. It happens. You go whoop, you go down. It's an emotional roller coaster. That's what creativity does to you every single day. It feels good when you've got that great idea. But when that idea doesn't have a payoff, it's like, ugh. It's an addiction. Unplugged, because we will always say yes to creativity. Totally Uncut, because we all make mistakes. So turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged. I don't know how to start today. I couldn't start yesterday. I tried. I came into this studio bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but I was carrying some extra weight. And I chose that I wasn't going to be able to deal with it. Because coming into this studio, I get the opportunity to share a conversation, create interviews and things like that, to help empower, to help teach, to bring content to people that, are tired of reading magazines. They want the real story. But I had too much weight yesterday. The weight of losing my mother. And I sat here in the studio and I said, you can't act today for your mother. You need to be real today. You need to be present. You need to be just a regular guy who isn't thinking about doing podcasts. You need to give your mom some respect and let her know that you're going to take the time to mourn her loss. But we're together today, right? And I we grow up in a world where we know what's going to happen. You are born and then. But when we hit that then, you sit there and go, wow, 59 years went that fast. That's how long I've been with my mom. 59 years. Hey, it's Arroe. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer. Did I write about my mother yesterday? Yep. Do you want to read it? My journals are always open. I don't want to read it to you today, but I'd rather you read it because you yourself might be going through this, or you will be going through this. And that's why talking about it is so that you never feel like you're alone. My sister called me last night about 9:30. And she goes, I've never been this alone in my life. And I sat down and talked with her. And, it's not that just because I have a relationship with my loving Lord doesn't mean that I'm greater than anybody else. It's just that in those God moments, you have got to be in that moment where God is using you to get through her. And she made the choice to not want to listen to it. And she felt that talking about God was just not a good thing. So, but I write about this stuff because it's the everyday world. It's what we do. This is the daily mess. Defining a moment that has been designed by a different moment that you had no control of. There you go. 9:30 last night. There you go. Defining a moment that's been designed by a different moment that you had no control of. Therefore, it isn't the first act to take control. Therefore, isn't the first act to take control? When members of a family are lost, there's always going to be turmoil. It's how the human processes the situation at hand. Anger must not be a weapon of choice. I get it. Emotions are so high, but you can't rely on the easiness of how anger clarifies a point. When parents pass, that's not a permission slip to break up the family. Yet I've seen it so many times outside of my family, and now I'm experiencing it. Trying to find a compassion for the fire starter is a gamble. And for so many other people around me, it's way too heavy for their hearts to make an emotional investment. I don't know if you understand this, but I am always a listener first. That doesn't mean that I sacrifice my voice. Willing is always going to be my way until the sharp shards of thought cut into the still open wounds of that loss. I'm so amazed at how everybody around the world, we want global peace. We want global peace. And yet, so many families have turned their worlds upside down. Dear God in heaven, help me. Help me learn from this. Lord, present for me a path to where we can not only build a brand new beginning, but we can take that beginning and that foundation and lift other people who have been strained and stained by this same situation. Like I said, I have seen this so many times with families outside of my circle. And then to experience it myself. What didn't I learn from those that were around me? I'll tell you what I did learn. Last night at 9:30, I chose to listen. But once again, like it's written here, but that doesn't mean I sacrificed my voice. Those are heavy words. And those that are combating with you are not going to understand that I still have a voice in this situation. As angry as your family members can be, as disappointed, as hurt inside, and they say, stop it! You are not to speak when I am speaking. Really? Whoa, whoa, whoa. And I ask you now, in your present place of now, do not ever sacrifice your voice. Things change. Things need to be rebuilt, replenished. But the last thing that you need in your life is emptiness caused by someone else's lost emotional control. I'm Arroe, and that's the Daily Mess.